Hey guys, welcome to the Gowdy Wood Shop. I'd like to start a new YouTube channel, and this is going to start off with a new toy. Recently I've been looking into getting a desktop laser engraver. Everybody wants to afford a Glowforge, but you know, those are kind of priced a little high. So what I did was I started scouring the internet, and I came across a company called Fox Alien. I did contact them along with two others. Fox Alien was the only one that responded back. So as they started talking with me, I wanted to see how much information I could get out of them. I wanted to see how helpful they were, because this kind of setup, you want that customer support. And Fox Alien did an outstanding job. I'm just going to go off there and say it right now. Fox Alien did an outstanding job on answering all my questions. If you know me, you know I can bug people to death, but this company took their time, was very patient with me, and answered my questions. So I went ahead and purchased this with them. I wanted to find something that was under $500. This model is their latest and greatest. It's called the Reizer. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. The Reizer laser engraver. It's a 20 watt laser, and it's just a desktop. It's like I said, it's under $500. I think the price that it's going right now is for $439 just for the laser setup. I did purchase the Honeycomb that we'll show you here in just a minute, and that was an additional $60 or $70. But they have a combo kit, and I think the combo between this one and that was about $469. I'll have to go back to the website, or you can. It's going to be www.foxalien.com if you'd like to look this unit up. But I wanted to go over a couple things with you real quick. One of the things that you're going to see with this kind of desktop setup is a lot of them come with a spacer to make sure you are at the correct height of your laser head with the work material. And on their website, it didn't list if it was in the product or not. Fortunately, it is. It does come with it. This is a 30 millimeter little piece of metal. It does give you the right height when you're going to adjust your laser height. So if you are wondering if it does come with it, yes it does. It does come with this. So that's a plus, because I was worried as soon as I was going to get it in, how am I going to know if I'm at the right height? Because I know this has got to be pretty precise in order to get the correct kind of laser engraving that you're looking for. So to answer your question, yes, it does come with a spacer. All right. Question number 2 that I had was about assembly. The assembly is very straightforward. They do provide you a little booklet that goes through step by step. It is very informative. If you built Legos as a kid, this is right up your wheelhouse. I mean, I built Legos as a kid. It's perfect, man. Very simple instructions, very detailed pictures. So it's not teeny tiny pictures that you're trying to see which kind of screw goes into where. This is very informative, and you're not going to have any problems, okay? The third thing that I was curious about, because they kept saying this is a new 32-bit control board. That thing is very detailed on where to plug what in. All the wires come completely labeled. You're not guessing what goes where. So I don't know if we can see this on camera, but everything is very informative of where what goes, okay? There was one thing that it stumped me, and it was only because all the plugs on this control board were white, okay? So there was a, I think it was the X-axis plug. There wasn't a spot on the control board, so it actually took me a few minutes to find it. I'm going to put a picture in, a little still shot here in just a second for you to see. It is actually on the control arm for the Y-axis over here. But I will put a picture in there so that way you can see what I'm talking about. So that way if you are watching this video because you're like, hey, where's this plug in? Here's the answer right here. And so here's your picture, okay? So let's get started, okay? We are going to, I've actually already done a couple of test burns when I first assembled it. I did a assembly video with my two kids. I'll probably put that out here just so you guys can get a good laugh. It was a quick video to see how this burned, okay? So the laser itself does come with 2 blank pieces of plywood. Looks like it's pine plywood. And my first engraving, it turned out very well. It was just a little Superman logo. No, I don't own the rights to it. YouTube is new to me, guys. How I follow several different people, but like Brandon Ferris, man, shout out to him. This is really hard talking to a camera. There's no feedback. You don't know what's happening. So, man, how he keeps us entertained. I love watching some videos from Brandon Ferris. So, shout out to Brandon Ferris. Anyways, my first engraving was a Superman logo, and it did really well. This is what one of my sons wanted. Then my other son wanted a little emblem of a wolf head, and this one was done with 2 passes. This one was done with 1, and everything was great. It was late. It was about 9:30 at night. And I gotta be the responsible father, so I said, "Hey boys, it's time to go to bed. Let's pick this up another day." Well, I came out the next day and started to do another test one, and this one came up with a bunch of lines. And I'm like, what in the world, guys? I was able to do 2 perfect burns. Why am I getting a bunch of lines? Come to find out, there are some different settings that you got to play with on this software. I am using the free version that comes with it. It is called Laser Gerbil. Laser spelled out GRBL. It is pretty straightforward, but I need to do some more research on it. I need to try to find out more information. So yes, Fox Alien, I will be contacting you soon about getting more instructions on how to use this program. But it has been, with toying around, you can figure some of this stuff out. So as I was trying to get getting rid of my lines, I was coming up with just different emblems, trying to do little test runs on them. Even my Superman went liney again. But I did find out that continuous power versus dynamic power, if you want smoother lines, go with dynamic power. So there's another hint, guys. If you're trying to find it, use dynamic power. That way you can get a more consistent line like that. I even did a little patch of leather. There's another Superman with a patch in leather. Now, again, I don't know all the rules for YouTube. Please don't get mad at me. I don't own the rights to this kind of logo. This is just test burns. This is for fun. So I'm not selling it. I think I'm okay as long as I'm not selling it. So we're going to go over a project that I'd like to do for my wife. We have 3 fur babies. We have a Great Dane named Pigeon. We have a boxer named Hershey Kiss, and a Heinz 57 dog that we call Chopper. Chopper's our old man. He's our grumpy man, but he's a great dog, and we don't have to keep control of him. Pigeon is about 1 year old, and she's still a puppy at heart, of course. Gentle giant, as they call them. She's a little over 100 pounds. We love her to death. And our boxer Hershey is about 3 years old, and she wants to be the dominant one, even though she's about 10 feet shorter than our Great Dane, right? So I played around. I've gotten different images offline, and I came up with an idea of creating a little coaster for my wife to use to put her cups on while she's at work. We're called the Dog Mom. So it's just little silhouettes of the 3 dogs. Of course, Chopper's not on a leash because he's the old man, and he doesn't have to be hauled around on a leash. He's a good dog. So I did a test burn. I wanted to make sure everything was looking right, get the placement, because I'm going to put it on a piece of cherry right here. So it's just a thin board that I planed out in my shop, and this way I can kind of get the placement idea of where I would like to put it on this piece before I actually cut it and round out the edges to make it look nicer. I do want to do several passes on this. I want to make the engraving pretty deep, because I'm going to go back and fill it in with some epoxy. So come along for the ride. We're going to get this going, see how it turns out. I'm going to switch between this camera as well as the GoPro that I have mounted here. That way you can kind of see better close-ups of the actual engraving. And let's get started. Alright guys, I know this is kind of backwards for you, but this way you can kind of see the layout of the laser gerbil. First thing you're going to do is you're going to actually connect the device. Make sure you are on the correct COM port. Mine is actually on COM port 3. And we're going to connect the laser. You're going to get a status down here as idle, meaning that it is connected. If it's still showing disconnected, guess what? You're disconnected. Alright, so we're going to change the image. We're going to do the dog mom right here. And again, there are different settings on here that I'm not 100% on. I do know that, you know, higher number for quality, the better quality you're going to get. I'm going to leave it at a 6. I don't know how high you can go on that. That's going to be another question that I have for Fox Alien, is what's the range for quality that you can set this to. The different resize for bicubic, brightness, contrast, black and white. Again, that's questions that I don't have an answer to. A lot of people do that I've seen. They actually use a software called Lightburn. It's about $40 for the subscription license. But I wanted to see what came with this laser and try to use that before switching to anything else. So this one is laser gerbil. It's the latest version that they have available right now, and we're just gonna stumble through it together. Okay, so I do know one thing: all this blank white space I don't need, so I am actually gonna make it crop. It'll do a smart crop. That way it highlights just the area that we want to cut. Okay, so we're going to hit next. I was playing around with the engraving speeds last night. 100 is going to cause some burning issues, and that's because it is going very slow. I believe what I was using last night was, I think it was 300 or 400, and that was what was getting me the smoother engravings. So I'm going to just go ahead and put it back at 400. Worst case scenario, as long as nothing moves, nothing changes on the laser itself, we can rerun it. We can engrave over and over and over as much times as we need, as long as nothing gets bumped or moved. So my work area that I currently have it set up is very temporary. I have a whole other video and plan to build a downdraft table, have it on a cart, that way I can move it around inside my garage here, because this garage area is just for my leather work. My wood shop is out in my backyard. It's much bigger. This will probably start living out there, but right now, since it's just temporary setup, I wanted to see what I can get going with it. So we are going to leave it at the height. This is everything that was left over from when I did my test burn. So we're going to leave it as that. Dynamic power is what I was talking about earlier. Make sure you have it on dynamic power so that it has a smoother engraving and you don't get a bunch of lines. Okay. We're going to create. Alright guys, sorry about that. I had a little issue with it kind of burning through a little too much. So I went ahead and paused the camera just for a split second to get a few things changed over. I'm going to try this one more time on the piece of cherry here. And I am going to turn the fan on, so this little part is going to be fast forwarded. Mainly because it's going to take a little bit of time, but that way you're not hearing all the noise on it as well. So here I'm going to turn on the fan and just let you guys kind of see the whole process of it moving on the computer screen versus the GoPro here getting the actual burning part. So here we go. I do want to make a note real quick. One thing you can do just to make sure you are on the correct placement for your workpiece is you can hit the frame, and it's going to do a little laser outline of what's going to cut. That way, if you have like a dark spot on this cherry like I do right here, you can make sure you're hitting in between it so that it doesn't interfere with your actual work image. So I think it looks pretty good where it's at, and we will go ahead and start the burn. Alright guys, so it finished up, so we're going to take a quick look at it. Actually turned out really well for a single pass, and I'm going to get some more pictures for you, to like still shots, but it turned out really well. There is going to be just a little brittle there for the Great Dane design, but overall it looks really good. What I'm going to do next is get some epoxy. I'm going to fill it in. I'll pick a little pearl color here, and we're going to pour it in, let it sit overnight, get a good sanding on it, and see how it turns out. Hopefully she'll like it. Okay guys, so I'm also new to epoxy. I'm new to a lot of things. I've done woodworking as a hobby since high school, but I've been trying to branch out to learn more things, learn newer things, and so a few years ago I actually got some epoxy. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's been sitting for a while, that's why it's kind of yellowed some, but the pearl doesn't pick that up. At least last time I tried this, it didn't pick up. We'll see. I don't need a lot for it. It's going to be a small pour, so I will more than likely mix more than I need because I just overdo it sometimes. I'm sure some of you can relate out there, but we're going to do this real quick. Like I said guys, it's all new to me, but I like and enjoy trying to do new and fun things. Like a lot of you out there, you watch YouTube videos all day, you say, hey, I can do that. And that's why I said, hey, I can make a YouTube video. But again guys, it is very hard. How a lot of you YouTube stars do it, I don't know. I mean, it's very awkward trying to talk to a camera, and wonder if you've actually made it this far in the video. Hopefully you have. I hope you have, because I'd like to start doing more and more videos. So I'd like to get a good response and see what you guys think of it. Again, I'm not a pro. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So please don't be too harsh in comments if you guys do say any kind of comments. Again, I'm just trying something new, something fun. Something to mention as I'm mixing is all the burnt edges. I do have a brass nozzle on order. It was supposed to have been here yesterday, but it looks like it got held up in Chicago. So hopefully it'll be here next week. I'll do a video on that as I do the downdraft table. That'll help a lot with the burnt edges, but once I get this epoxy in and it's hardened, I'll sand all that. It should disappear, no problem. So here we go. Alright guys, well that's going to be it. We'll let it sit overnight and I'll get you a better picture. Alright guys, we're back. It's been the second day and this has already been sitting overnight. I did go ahead and take it out to my shop to go ahead and sand it down, and it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. This was just meant for a oversized coaster that's going to be on my wife's desk here at work. And I just want to do the little wipe on poly just to show you how it's going to brighten up this pink. I did sand to about a 600 grit, but again, the epoxy did seep into the grain a little bit more than I wanted, and that's why you're seeing all this extra outline around all the animals and the cutout. But overall, I'm happy with it. So let's go ahead and do this poly real quick. See if you guys can see that shine. And I'll probably do a couple coats of this. I'm not going to bore you guys with it. If you've made it this long in the video, I really do appreciate it. And I hope you've learned from my mistakes as well as just maybe a couple ideas. So again, this is the Gowdy Woodshop, and I look forward to doing more videos. We'll see you soon.